answer.
Rhema.cc. Joy.
And that is who you're listening to. You're listening to Rhema.cc, 94.9. My name is Isabel Rose, and I'm in the chair until about 3 o'clock or so. And I'm not in the room on my own. You can probably hear someone breathing in the background. Yes, someone's too close to the microphone. It's just a bit weird in my ears. All right, I better do some introductions before I become really silly. I have got two very special people in the room with me. I met them only 15 minutes ago, and already I love them. They're very special. We have common ground, a lot of common ground. All of us are grandparents, okay? So, without further ado, I would like to introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Targett. We have got Janine.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
And we've also got Paul.
Good afternoon, Isabel. Lovely to be here.
Yes, I feel the very same way about you too. Thank you so much for coming here. And of course, you are here at very special invitation because we're going to talk about grandparenting, not in terms of our children, and we might have a chance to talk about our children and our grandchildren as the hour progresses, but there's something that you've got a little nugget of information that you would like to share with us. So let's, keeping it simple, because this is what spiked my interest. Facebook. What's happening on Facebook, Janine? What's happening?
Well, we have a Facebook page called Aussie PGs, which is Australian Praying Grandparents, which is very exciting. And we put up pictures of groups of praying grandparents in different parts of Australia, different states, just to let everyone know and to link us all together as we believe God is calling the grandparents to form little groups, and so Facebook is a wonderful place to be able to link people.
And I dare say nearly all of us have got a Facebook account, yeah?
That's right, Isabel, except I don't have one.
You don't need one. Janine's got one.
Yes.
She's got one, and yes.
So now when you and I, all three of us, were talking earlier over a cup of coffee, Janine, you had shared something really quite beautiful with me regarding how this came to be in the first place. Could you please tell our listeners?
Yes, Isabel, look, I'd love to. In 2019, so 5 years ago now, I was just at home doing my housework, as we do, and God gave me a vision. It was, I saw in my mind's eye the words Aussie PGs, and in brackets, Australian Praying Grandparents. Along with that came a picture of the map of Australia that I found myself sort of looking at with red dots. They seem to be red dots all over Australia, and I could see that they were groups of praying grandparents. So that was the vision that came.
So groups yet to be formed.
Yes.
Wow. And when you had that vision, what impact did that have on your mind, body and soul?
Yes. As soon as it came to me, I thought, where did that come from? It wasn't something I was thinking about at all. I mentioned it to Paul, and he said, well, perhaps we need to pray about this and ask God what he's saying and what does he want us to do with it. So that's what happened. We began to pray and ask God, what do you want us to do with this?
I need to interject because what people listening don't know is that Paul is looking at you so lovingly. So you two have been together for 50 years or so?
50 years. 50 years this year.
Yes.
50 years this year. And you've always been Christian, haven't you?
Yes, we have. We have been Christians right through.
And Paul, you've got 3 children, I understand?
That's correct, yes. We've got 2 girls and a boy.
So I'm going to let you be the one that tells the listeners how many grandchildren you both have.
Well, this is something that really surprised us. We had 3 children and no idea that we were going to have 18 grandchildren. So
okay, now just in case some of you folks didn't quite catch that, can you believe it? They have 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and somehow they have got 18 grandchildren. So really, it's no wonder that if anyone was going to receive a vision from God, it was going to be you, really, wasn't it, Janine? Then you wouldn't have had 18, but he knew you were going to have 18.
Yes,
so you know
right.
what we'll do? We will have a break and we are all going to dance in our chairs to CeCe Winans' That's My King. So let's return to what's in the room. And in the room it is Janine and Paul, and they are grandparents and they're from Tasmania. And they're here on the mainland for a very special reason. They want to share the message. They want you to know, if you are grandparents or if you're parents, if you're listening to me and you've got parents who are grandparents, let them know there's a Facebook page out there that they can join or even create. And I think that's something I'm going to do, but I need to find out more first. So, Janine, turning to you now again. So, all right. Facebook, I understand the principle of that. So you would, as a grandparent, you would create a page, I guess, and you would share it with your friends, invite people to join, grandparents in particular. And what is it you want to achieve from that? What is it they will do? What will they enjoy from that?
Okay. Well, the Facebook page is a very enjoyable one if you join it, because the more groups, the more people that decide they'd like to start a little prayer group praying specifically for their grandparents, and we do encourage just once a month, we pop a picture of them and their group up there so that other people can see, okay, who are the new groups, and where are they from. There are pictures we're putting up from all the different states, and it just encourages the other grandparents that are checking it out. And we do have other videos too, little small things that are really helpful for grandparents. If they scroll down, they can see them.
And what is the content of the videos?
The content? There's one called I'm an Intentional Grandparent, and it's a very good video just encouraging grandparents to rise up and, care about their grandchildren. It just is so inspirational to listen to. It probably takes, it's about 3 minutes, and there are a few of those little video clips along the way as well, so people can scroll down and have a really good look. That's probably about it, I think, for the Facebook page, but very, very popular, and we do have a lot of people on it.
And I do believe that there is a website, Paul, that people can go to. So please tell us. Yeah.
The website is actually created by our grandson. So we're grandparents, and anyone who's a grandparent is not all that, savvy with the IT. But fortunately, grandchildren are a great resource. Never write them off. So he's created this wonderful website, and it allows people to go into there to see what Aussie PGs is all about. It's got a little film clip of a group that talks about what we do, and has little testimonies from other grandparents why they get so much out of gathering together to pray together intentionally for the grandchildren, and also a page that they can actually enrol as an Aussie PG. And that allows us to send them we send out a newsletter once a quarter, and once we have their email address, we can put them on the list, and they'll get a quarterly newsletter, and they can actually order other things that would help them. Our idea is to provide resources for grandparents.
Right, understand. So, and the resources, are they Christian-based then?
Oh, yes.
All right, so that's crucial to the conversation, I guess. It just is. It's crucial to life, I think. Never mind the conversation. Yeah. But you know what I really picked up on was the fact that for when the grandparents get together in their small groups, for them to sit down and intentionally pray for their grandchildren. There's a real power in prayer, isn't there?
Absolutely. We believe so strongly because we've seen so many answers to prayers. And in these groups, we often get testimonies back, which we share with other groups, about amazing things that God has done as a result of grandparents agreeing together and encouraging one another. Because if you're praying for someone for a long period of time, it can be very hard work. But when you've got other people there alongside you encouraging you and sharing the burden in a way, then it becomes a very powerful group, and we encourage one another and we share. It's just really a wonderful way to get together and intentionally.
I love it. I love the premise. I love the belief behind it, and there's a real faith happening here.
Yeah.
So I just want to read out the website for anyone that might be interested in finding out more about this. And it reads www.aussiepgs.com.au. I'll read it out one more time. www.aussiep for parents, G grand, S plural, .com.au. Okay, we'll be back in a second. And this station is Rhema, Central Coast and beyond, 94.9. My name is Isabel Rose, in the chair till about 3 o'clock or so. Can you believe it? We're more than halfway through the afternoon show. The last 40 minutes or so have flown by, and that's because I've got two very special people in the room with me. They are grandparents, much like myself, so we have a lot of common ground. They own more of it, or they've taken up more of that common ground, more than, well, I'm comfortable with, really, because they have got 18 grandchildren. And I thought I was doing well with 4. 18. I mean, seriously, folks. You know. And the thing is, what's so adorable about it is they've only got 3 children. So they're from their offspring. They have produced more offsprings, and 18 in total. It's phenomenal. So it is Janine and Paul that's in the room, and we're talking about grandparenting prayer groups, essentially. And what it is it's an opportunity for grandparents all over Australia to come together into little groups, little clusters of friendships, if you like, and it's a means of support. And then how can you be the very best grandparent you can be, walking with Jesus the entire time and talking like Jesus. I wonder if Jesus ever said, no means no. I've used that a few times with my grandchildren. But, you know, we're doing the best we can. So, Paul, we were talking earlier and we landed very nicely. We've talked about the Facebook page, and we've talked about how, loosely speaking, how people can make that happen for themselves. And it is the website that they have been encouraged to go to.
Yes.
So it's at this website, www.aussiepgs.com.au, that folks can go to for support material. What does that mean, support material? What's there?
The type of thing we try and put up there are things like an indication of how you can start a group, how you can run a group. Very simple, very basic, but sometimes you just don't know where to start. So we have given you some ideas, and we've got groups that vary dramatically from the kind of common one, but we really encourage people to start groups that fit their situation. And so we have groups that, for instance, we had a lovely 84-year-old who came to our group, but then she had to move into a retirement village. Within a very short time, she'd gathered a few people from the retirement village, and now they've got their own group that actually meet weekly because they just love getting together to pray.
That's nice. That's really nice. Sorry, I interrupted.
Yeah, that's all right as well. Whereas other groups meet after church on Sunday and have a lunch, and they have very powerful prayer meetings together and share. The grandchildren, they'll pray over all their grandchildren, and some of them have got 90, 100 grandchildren that they're praying for on a regular basis. We have another one, you mentioned Facebook, where we have one group where the one that's running it is not very mobile, finds it difficult to get out. So she started a messenger group. And she's got a group in Tasmania that are very concerned about babies. She had a very sick baby and they prayed, and that baby is fine now.
Wow.
And they've got a very strong interest in that. So if anyone rings us or contacts us with a problem with the baby, we get them to get in touch with her. She puts it on the messenger group, and suddenly they've got 7 or 8 people praying specifically for their baby. And they've had some amazing answers to prayer.
Well, for a start, we know there's real power in prayer. And
Yes.
just to very quickly touch upon the Bible, and in particular, I'm thinking of Jesus himself. And he
Yes.
prayed.
Yes.
Jesus prayed to God.
Yes.
And I mean, that speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It does.
Such is the power. So it's in conversation with God Almighty, Jesus Christ. And it's just asking for help, guidance. And that can only be a good thing, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. And that's the problem. Often we don't know. And being able to ask God and share the answers, that's just so incredible when you can share the answers. It builds our faith, and we can share that with others and build their faith as well.
So, with your faith, and Janine, I'll direct this to you,
Yes.
with your faith as strong as it is, and you've both always been Christian, and your children are Christian, and all of your grandchildren are, you must be so walking free in the respect of your belief must have you sort of don't want to use the word elevated, but you must feel so good about your faith and your belief in Jesus Christ and God and the Holy Spirit.
Yes, most definitely. My faith in Jesus is very, very strong. I know God answers prayer. We've seen so many answers to our prayers. Paul and I do pray together every day together, and we encourage other couples to do that, to pray together every day for their children, for their grandchildren. Paul does that each day, and with me, and it's just something very special that our children know that we do, and so do the grandchildren. And so as a result, the grandchildren, not as a result of that, but they are all Christians too, which is really
It's
lovely.
role modelling, isn't it? And actually
Yes.
that was talked about the other day in this very studio, role modelling, the importance of it. And you two, I mean, genuinely, the love that you two have for each other is nearly palpable. I think I'm just going to touch you both on the shoulders before you leave. I want some of that.
Can I just jump
Please.
in on that one, Isabel? The other thing is that I want to speak particularly to the guys, because quite often the guys leave it to their wives. They think, okay, she can pray for them, that's fine. But I really strongly believe that guys are the spiritual head of their family, whether they like it or not. And they have a responsibility and an authority. And it's really important that, particularly in these days, that grandfathers rise up.
Yes.
And actually take a stand and actually support their wife, pray with her, and actually lead at times and be an example. As you said, we want to pass on our legacy to our grandchildren. Well, we can't do that if we're not actually praying for them or talking to them, sharing what God's done for us.
Do you know, there's a beautiful piece of music that's going to be played in the next couple of seconds or so, and I just couldn't have organised this any better than it is. And it's Simeon with I Hear Your Voice. And actually, it was Janine that heard God's voice, not literally, but Janine got the information in the first place from God in a vision to do what she and her husband Paul are doing, and many, 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 many other grandparents are also doing. And that vision was way back in 2019, and it has grown significantly, hasn't it, Janine? How many members, to use that word, do you think you have, or the group have?
Well,
loosely.
we currently have 78 groups happening around Australia, almost 80, and we haven't counted up the actual numbers, but I would think there'd be a lot by now. Yes, definitely.
So let's say on average 10, but there'd be more. But if it's 10, well, let's say 1,000 people.
Yes.
That's incredible. So you've got
Yes.
1,000 Christians,
Yes.
grandparents that are communicating with other grandparents,
Yes.
and all of them have got one mission, if you like, in mind. And it is to continue to be empowered,
Yes.
to be equipped as grandparents to pass on their godly legacy to their grandchildren.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
geez, I mean, that's...
You've got it in a nutshell, Isabel.
That's really good.
Oh, I had some help. But, I mean, really, that's it, isn't it? It's pretty
Yes.
fantastic. And a little something, we go to this every so often on air, and that is we all have the power of one sort. We can change people. We can change people's
Yes.
days, their minds, their lives, and their outlook. And it's a real privilege, isn't it, being a grandparent?
Yes,
I'm
wonderful.
loving it. I'm loving it, and I'm mindful of it. I'm sure I'm a better grandparent than I was parent, you know, because I'm so aware of myself and the authority and the influence I
Yes.
have. So it's all about good role modeling and being there.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love it. Now listen, the website again is www.aussiepgs, all one word, .com.au. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about your own parents who happen to be grandparents to your children, yeah, look, if you've managed to take a mental note of any of what we've said, please pass it on. And what I'll try to do is I'll try to get this information up on Rhema's website. So I want to thank you both so very much for coming in and sharing this with us. I'm definitely going to try to put up a Facebook page and make a little community of grandparents happen. And I'll let you know how I go.
Absolutely. Keep in touch. We would love to hear, Isabel.
Okay, for sure. Now, here we go. Who's going to pick up this challenge? I want all of the names of your 18 grandchildren. I could say in alphabetical order, but I might make it in order of age. That'll be easier.
Yes.
Okay, Janine, it's yours. Go.
Wonderful. We have a daughter, Andrea. She has 10 children, so they are Lucas, Jake, Zach, Bronte, Seth, Ava, Jessica, Evie, Benjamin, Meg, and Meg. So there's 10.
Yep.
Our other daughter, Michelle, has 4 children, Caitlin, Sammy, Esther and Joshua. Our son, Jonathan, has 4 boys, Sonny, Kip, Rex and Magnus.
Do you know, there's not one of those names I don't like. They are awesome names. All right. Oh, look, once again, thank you so much for joining us. And I just had a quick look at the time. How about if we go for Give Me Your Eyes, Brendan Heath, and he will take us to the news. Thank you to you two. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, Isabel.
You're welcome.